Alrighty, we're checking the audio system and we're good. So, welcome to Nycos Nightly News. I'm Jonathan Albin, and tonight we have quite a bit to talk about. Now, I am running a little behind the gun time wise, and therefore we're going to be doing this as is the case for my games most often. We're going to do this theater of the mind, and so we're going to discuss the locations, but I won't be bringing up the map simply because I've got too much information to share to get everything set up before the show. So, having said that, welcome. If you haven't been here before, press all the buttons, specifically the subscribe button. If you're on here on Twitch and you subscribe, you get to watch with no commercials. So that's really important. Furthermore, if you are on YouTube and you subscribe, you become part of our community and you start to gain some understanding of what goes on week over week. And if you join and subscribe, if you will, as a supporter at Nycos on Patreon, Nycos, I'm saying it wrong, www.patreon.com/Nycos, then you gain the ability to actually be a participant in our live online game sessions over the weekends. So that's a lot to take in. So before we go any further, I want to thank you for being here. If you like what you see, definitely follow us and like us. And if you aren't enjoying yourself, thank you for the time you've put in so far. I know that's a lot of choices out there to watch, and any time you spend with us is a great help to us. Alrighty. So there are currently three groups operating in the world of Nycos. We're going to cover those three. The last group is known to be in the environs of the area known as Olmara, and we are dealing with them in a kind of a kid gloves way because we haven't yet devised what we're going to be reporting and who all is going to be playing. So we will be not bringing that up until after they get activated. So let's talk about this in terms of the three fronts: the south, the north, and the west. So on the western front, the Luthanin has made a couple of bold strokes. He has continued to advance his numbers by bringing additional support from many of the Eldrin personalities and additionally getting confirmation from at least a couple more enjoined that they are indeed involved with the program. It is important to note that the Tobruks that were built in agreement with Lord Bowden, who is responsible for providing technical support through the heavy metal guild, have begun to negotiate with Salifort in terms of expanding the amount of defenses and the defensive budget that's being developed for the newly developing governance of the Luthanin. The conversations have run a bit sour in that it appears that there may be individuals who are not sympathetic to the Luthanin's cause that are trying to bend his ear. So we'll have to see how that turns out. In terms of the successful test firing of the new Tobruk cannon, they were very successful, and according to the reporters' response, it appears that they are working within their operational parameters. We have not yet been provided that information, but the Luthanin assures us that he will be doing everything he can to protect his people, even as he formalizes his governing system, which appears to be based on the Holy Roman Empire. Which is interesting, as the very forces that he is facing against are also seeming to be established in a similar structure, with the two full legions now dedicated to the Western Front, and the first of their forces have begun to move beyond the area of Olmara. So we will see how that fares going forward. In addition, on the northern front, the endeavor to ensure the legacy of the newly forming Miri's faith within the overall body of the Primus Church, the Prismus Church, I should say, has been very interesting, and the blessings of that first miracle have now been established by a second miracle, and there will be more information on that in the upcoming week. But just realize that this front, it was also instrumental in finding out information about the operation in Draconia. As you may recall, we did have eyewitnesses that reported that the forces of the Imperator had actually made contact with the governing bodies in Draconia, and it seems like that is continuing its progress forward, and there doesn't seem to be much in terms of variation from that, with the possible arrival of a new player in the scene, so to speak, in terms of a mover and shaker among the unenjoined. So we'll be getting more information on that individual and his family history, including a surprise connection to the enjoined. There may be more going on than we are even aware of in the city of Draconia, and we have agents on the scene. Finally, on the southern front, as was described, it appears that the armies of the Imperator have actually begun to facilitate a relatively peaceful transfer of power in Draconia, which is, of course, of great concern to those individuals who are working in the area. So more information will be disclosed as we find out who is actually leading this seeming advance in one of the Bathrakin's bastion holdouts. In addition to that, the southern group currently operating the title Skiffborn, but aboard a vessel which has been identified now to witnesses as the Dream Strider, has actually been seen in the environs of the Eastern Kingdoms, which is quite revealing. It appears that they have crossed over and made contact with the Thryn, and so there may be more going on there than we know. Now, there are rumors surrounding the Thryn that they may have already begun seditious acts towards organized governments, but we don't have any factual evidence of that at this point. But we do know now conclusively that the Thryn have made contact with the enjoined far in the south, surprisingly close to Bailon. Now, by our own agreements, we are not providing any additional information to the Bailon government concerning their activities, but to say that they are on a peace-driven mission with more to come moving forward. So I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm Jonathan Albin. This has been Nycos Nightly News and Nycos RPG. And if you want to know more about these campaigns, we are running games 4 days a week now, working on a fifth. And if you want to become a part of our community and a player in our games, check out our patreon.com/Nycos site and become a supporter there. And once you do, you'll receive access to our Patreon through, our Discord channel through our Patreon program, and therefore be able to become a player in these games. Until then, until next time I see you, remember we are here Monday through Friday, basically 10 a.m. each weekday, and each evening 11 p.m. until Thursday, and we have an actual game session on Friday. So we hope to see you soon. Thank you again for being here. I'm Jonathan Albin, and this is Nycos RPG.